Morning. We'll start our topic spiritual quality of Gitanjali, and it's the continuation of the first half. The first point we'll discuss here is Tagore's poems which are on pleading to God. In Tagore, these poems has as an earnest kind of pleading. In one of his poems, for instance, Tagore, addressing God as the master poet, appeals to him to let him make his life simple and straight, like a flute of reed for God to fill with music. In the poem that follows, he pleads God to let him see God's face and offer his silent salutation to him. In another poem, Tagore pleads with God to take away the pervading silent, cruel heat of despair, even if that means replacing it with his angry storm and with lashes of lightning. So we can say, in other words, that Tagore appeals to God to rid him of the feeling of despair, even if despair may have to be replaced by some kind of painful suffering. Any kind of suffering and misery would be preferable to despair. In one other poem, Tagore asks if God would keep standing silent behind all the people and who are going about, and if only he has to wait and weep and wear out his heart in vain longing. In other words, Tagore entreats God to let him have a glimpse of the divine light and splendor. The next point is the sense of exultation and joy in his poems. Large number of poems express Tagore's sense of exultation at whatever little he has achieved in a spiritual sense. In the very opening poem of Gitanjali, Tagore says that at the immortal touch of God's hands, his little heart loses its limit in joy. In the second poem, he says that he feels drunk with the joy of singing songs in praise of God, and that while singing, he forgets himself and begins to regard God as his friend, though actually God is his Lord. In one of the later poems, he asks himself if he is not aware of the thrill passing through the air, which notes of the distant song floating from the other shore. In other words, he becomes conscious of the voice of God speaking to him from across the sea or somewhere far away. In another poem, the poet feels happy to find that when old words die out in his tongue, new melodies issue forth from his heart. Here he feels happy to discover that the sources of poetic inspiration for him have not after all been exhausted. God actually arrives. The poet would smile and sing all alone while the air is filling with the sweet scent of God's promise to him. The writer feels happy to think of God's might, and he says, "Thy sword, O Lord, too of thunder, is wrought with uttermost beauty, terrible to behold or to think of." In one of his poems, Tagore says to God, "Thy world is weaving words in my mind, and thy joy is adding music to them." Tagore joyfully tells God that he is the sky and he is the nest as well. And then he goes on to say to God, "O thou beautiful, thy sounds and odors." Therefore, sometimes it is the feeling of God's nearness to him which gladdens Tagore's heart, and sometimes it is God's bounty in form of colors, sounds and odors of nature which makes him happy. In one poem, Tagore feels to think of the perfection of God's universe, even though someone among the gods had thought that something was missing from the universe. The last point is the note of prophecy in the poems of Gitanjali. We can see that if Gitanjali is said to be a compilation of prayers, pleadings and exultation, that there is also a note of prophecy in these. Tagore's prophecy does not relate to the future state of the world of politics. social conditions, scientific progress, etc. His prophecy relates only to the future of his own soul in relation to God. Tagore is a mystic and a seer who visualizes what might be in store for him with regard to his own spiritual longings and aspirations. He is a prophet in the sense in which Thomas Carlyle was a prophet, or in the sense in which the German transcendental philosophers of the early 19th century were prophets. Such men are not prophets in the sense of soothsayers or astrologers or foretellers of coming events. It is only the purity of the human soul and man's capacity to keep it pure which serve as the basis for the stability of the universe. That is why, in one of the poems of Gitanjali, Tagore vows to maintain the purity and the integrity of his soul in order to become worthy of God's love. Tagore says that day by day God is making him worthy of God's favor by refusing him to fulfill his duties, fulfill his evil desires, and thus saving him from the perils of a sinful life. In one of the poems, he feels that indulgent towards human beings, he has been neglecting the spiritual tasks and duties. God always waits for human beings to wake up to their duties and responsibilities. Here he further says that though he is hastening to reach the place of worship, he finds that there is yet time. Thus, here the prophetic note is to be found in the poet's hope that nothing is yet lost and that man can always make up for his delay in performing his duty to worship God. The note of prophecy becomes more pronounced in that group of poems which appear towards the end of Gitanjali and which have death as their theme. For instance, in one of the poems of this group, Tagore asks himself, "On the day when death will knock at thy door, what wilt thou offer to him?" And his reply to that will set before his guest, namely death, the full vessel of his life, and that he will never let his guest go back with empty hands. Means he'll show his achievements that he has made in his life. Tagore describes death as the last fulfillment of life, and he says to death, "One final glance from thine eyes and my life will be ever thine own." Tagore actually foresees his death and expresses his resolve to face it manfully and cheerfully. Such an acceptance of death is surely the mark of a prophet. Tagore does not protest against death, and he does not feel grieved by the thought of death. He looks upon death as a kind of blessing which must be received thankfully rather than sullenly or despairingly. He only wants to possess truly the things which he had been spurning or overlooking. In other words, he is now hoping to possess through death the spiritual treasures to which previously he had been indifferent. The thought of death makes Tagore feel even more affectionate and sympathetic to his fellow human beings. He tells them that he and they had been neighbors for a long time, but that he had received from them more than he could have given them. In the end, I'll give a quote from one of his poems, which is a very prophetic in nature. He says, "And because I love this life, I know I shall love death as well." Thank you.